Baby Beard Media. Shut up and take my podcast.
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 Stereotypes.
The foreigner. My customs are different.
Upwards inflections.
Australian.
Your beer belly is so big, your door doesn't even close, and that doesn't even make sense.
That sentence ends well with, I got advice from Nixon.
We're a G-rated.
This is a problem. Are we? Futurama podcast.
Trademark. License. Copyright.
Don't say those words.
Shut up and take my podcast.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It was kind of sweet with a tinge of anger.
Yes.
Yeah, it's restrained.
It was a crescendo and then coming into it. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Shut Up and Take My Podcast, the Futurama podcast where we look at everything from Zapp and Zoidberg to Planet Express and Poplars.
Are you mixing it up?
Yeah, a bit of alliteration. I
Okay,
thought
nice,
I'm
nice.
just going to keep... You seem...
No, I'm just shocked because the really kind of simple plain language one, you stuff up every week. And that one had like a bit of a tongue twister quality, and you nailed it.
This was prep.
Oh, right, okay. That's what you were doing in front of the mirror for 20 minutes
wonders
before
of
we started recording.
Yeah. Before he's like, la 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 la.
It's amazing. Like, as an actor, I should prep more intros and outros. I'm like, maybe
We
if
should
I'd-
warm up and stuff. We should do stretches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get limber.
Eye contact. Eye contact.
Anything that's not related to the audio medium is something that will enhance us.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what people don't know about podcasts is actually you need to be incredibly fit. So we do burpees, jumping jacks. We run like a marathon before we record each week as
And
well.
we eat Subway.
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
Be fresh. Yeah. I also think costume design is very important for a podcast.
Yes.
We need to feel in character.
So I'm dressed as Brannigan this week.
Oh, nice.
So I shouldn't cross my legs. You can see my junk.
There is a very beige colour palette going on at the moment. Very dull and very grey and browns and
It's
blacks.
awesome here. So
Yeah. I've got the vibrantness, got yellow, purple and blue.
That's maroon.
Yeah. I'm just simplifying it a little bit more. We work in primary colours and the simple offshoots from
I
that.
wouldn't call you bright. You've got maroon, and then over the top you've got a really deep blue, and then brown. You're not. You're
I wouldn't
still
say
quite earthy.
I wouldn't say a contrast look.
Yeah.
No.
You're still pretty earthy.
I mean, perfect for the audience to be listening to this at the moment. Hi, everyone. So I am Sean, and I'm joined here by Phil.
Hello.
And James.
Hello.
And you know what? We are on Season 2, Episode 12. We will get into this. It's the Deep South.
The Deep South.
So we are... Look, there's no reference to that. It's just literally, it is south.
It's literally our
It is
place.
under the ocean. It is below.
It is deep.
It is deep.
And it's Atlanta, so it's the
It's
South.
Atlanta.
So we got Brett Harland as the director and J. Stewart Burns as the writer. This is the third time that these guys have been paired together. So they did...
There's a bit of that, isn't there?
Yeah.
Where people get teamed up.
It seems to. There's a couple of them coming up as well. This is so they did Mars University and Ahead in the Polls. So they work well.
Yeah.
They do well. So the air date for this is April 16th, 2000, which is Billy West's birthday.
Oh, that's
sweet.
nice.
Yeah.
So happy birthday to... Oh, that was recently, wasn't it?
It was very recent. Yeah.
Happy birthday, Billy West.
Happy
it's a bit
birthday.
belated. We wish you well.
Yeah, thanks for making a great show.
Yeah, thanks for writing it. You didn't write it.
Thanks for being in it.
And we introduced Umbriel.
Umbriel.
Who was...
Yeah, she doesn't come back though.
No, she does not. No.
No.
Introduced and wiped away.
Yeah, is that the voice for Lurleen Lumpkin from
Oh, I would love to know that.
It depends
yeah.
because it was Parker Posey.
Also, very well done for remembering Lurleen's surname. I have to say.
Lurleen Lumpkin.
Larlene or Lurleen?
Lurleen.
Lurleen Lumpkin.
I thought it was Laureline
No, it's
Lumpkin.
Lurleen.
Lurleen? All
Which
right.
is a lovely name, really,
Yeah,
isn't it?
it's beautiful.
Lumpkin. I always remember the last name. Larlene
I always remember Lumpkin.
Lumpkin.
I've never heard Lumpkin before,
Yeah.
so it always stuck in my brain. I'm like,
I bet
Lumpkin?
someone's
a name?
called Lumpkin.
She's always a recurring character because her life just gets steadily worse each time you see her.
Yes, it does.
She's like homeless or she's drunk or it just gets really... But yeah, it's-
The Homer turning her down really
ruined her life.
Yeah.
So, Umbriel, obviously it's a reference to
Ariel.
Yeah.
But is the Umber bit
Well,
anything?
Yeah, so it's a moon orbiting Uranus, which Ariel is as well.
Okay.
yeah.
That's
Science joke.
Science joke.
Science
That's
joke.
really fun. That is very fun, he said without laughing.
Who
It
wants-
is pleasing. It's pleasing.
please.
Who wants to run down the plot for this episode?
I'll run down the plot. Okay.
Do
I guess we start out where Hermes brings a was it like a pet licensing certificate
Then when he gets it, oh my god,
yeah.
it's a fishing license,
Yeah.
and it's mandatory.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Strange.
the crew will go out to the middle of the Atlantic Ocean.
The exact center.
The exact center, because fish have got to be there. That seems like a logical place. They all start fishing different ways. Leela with the harpoon, Bender with his electronic fishing rod, and a giant fish basically ends up pulling the ship down underwater. They get trapped, and Fry sees a mermaid and falls in love.
Yeah.
Straight away.
Yeah.
Straight away. As soon as they meet, they have a montage
No
sequence,
time has
and they fall in
passed.
love.
No
Yeah.
time has passed.
Well, the first time he meets, she just kind of drifts away, and he's like,
Yeah, it's like, oh.
and then probably, an hour later?
Yeah, an hour
Catch
later,
up
they're-
again.
Yeah, right into it. They get to see a whale and a squid battle.
yeah, in a stadium.
In a
and they
stadium.
cheer different sides. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, they ride a ray. Ride a ray?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, they ride a
manta
ray.
yeah.
They cook shrimp over a volcanic vent in the
Yes.
ocean floor.
And Fry urinates plenty of times right
Yeah.
next to her.
Oh, love that potty humor.
yeah,
Yes.
And we get to the lost city of Atlanta.
yeah. Yes, we do.
Yes. The most subtle of puns.
I love that as well. When
Nice, I do
when I
like it.
first saw it as a kid, I'm like, oh, it's Atlantic. Like, you just think it's going to be Atlantic. It's like, oh, Atlanta. Oh, what? Like, I think it's pretty inventive. Like, I know-
Landlocked city in the middle of America.
Yeah, I know.
So I breathed very heavily before I was about to ask this because I have thoughts. What do we think?
It's one that always sticks in my mind, but it's one that it kind of just like there's no real grand scheme of things. Like,
I think it's a meandering episode, isn't it? It
Yeah.
just sort of wanders around a bit.
Yeah.
I didn't enjoy this episode a lot.
it's
It gave
best.
me-
Plot-wise, I don't. I just love some of the gags. In
Yeah,
it.
it's a gag episode.
Yeah.
It really is.
It kind of reminded me of I Second That Emotion, which was the season premiere production-wise for this season. Very slow. It's a
Yeah.
very slow
Yeah.
paced, and that comes a lot from Umbriel
Yeah.
and the scenes with her and Fry. I just felt it dragged.
There's not a lot of conflict and
Yeah,
resolution kind of stuff. He falls in love with her, and then when they get to everyone goes, "Oh, we're leaving." He goes, "I'm going to stay." He realizes he can't have sex with her, and then he leaves.
Yeah,
there's not a very deep plot, right?
Yeah,
There's not a
and
lot-
there's not a lot of like how Southern life really is there.
Yeah.
Because you're there for so little time. It's like everyone gets introduced to the city. Fry, you're going or staying? You're going? And he's like, oh, I can't have sex with you. Leaves.
I find a lot of characters are kind of rushed. Fry in particular, his love interest, that's completely rushed. The thing is, when you look at something like A Flight to Remember, which was the Bender romance with the Duchess, this is done over a condensed period of time, but we do that through montage. So you can see time has passed, so that even though we have to, 22-minute animated...
They do that with this, but
it doesn't feel like time has passed very much, considering what you see with the ship.
it feels
and
like
it's
an
just-
afternoon, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and also it's a character you don't really care about. I don't have many thoughts with Umbriel.
No.
I don't really care about her as a character. She's not
She doesn't
particularly
have a character,
interesting.
to be honest.
Yeah, she's played as really, really naive and dumb, right? So
Yeah.
she's going to the debutante ball and whatever, and Bryce says something really innocuous and about sea lions or lions or whatever,
yeah.
and she's like, "Oh, tell me more." She's not, yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It feels like a very lazy parody of the Southern gentleman type characters.
Yeah, and I feel like they don't get away with it by being ironic enough.
No.
By saying, "Oh, look how overdoing our southern stereotypes." They're just presented, and you're
We
like,
get the Colonel,
Ooh.
so
The Colonel,
literally the
the Colonel.
KFC Colonel. We get the only other, besides Umbriel and the Colonel, the only other person was the stereotypical hick. Howdy, y'all!
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Never see him again.
He's wearing
No,
dungarees.
Yeah.
And a cameo from a singer that does not hold up. I don't know who the hell he is.
Can you remember what the
Donovan?
name-
Donovan.
I don't know who Donovan is.
Yeah.
It is a real person.
Yeah, it rings a bell, but no.
But
it
no,
doesn't.
that does not hold up.
No. I'm assuming he's like a folk artist, and it's rare they stick around, really.
Yeah,
Have lasting
yeah.
power. I don't know. I feel like they should have probably maybe not discover Atlantis. They just have to deliver something to Atlantis.
Just get there straight
Just get
away.
there straight away, and
Yeah.
maybe like
Tell a lot of fishing jokes, don't they?
maybe conflict. Yeah, maybe conflict comes from the Colonel doesn't want him to
Yeah.
be, and it's like play off racism through having legs.
Yeah, well, you could have that the undertones of there's something wrong going on here. The Colonel, he just very subtly, obviously doesn't want them. Subtly doesn't want them there.
Yeah.
Because we allude to that when they leave, is that everyone's leaving and Fry's going to stay with Umbriel near the end of the episode, and he says, "Oh, Zoidberg's saying, maybe you can meet me sometime," and Fry looks back at the Colonel, just shakes the head.
Yeah.
that
I'm
could
trying
have
to
been
get into the
something
country club, so you can't hang
Yeah,
out with
yeah.
lobster
Yeah.
creatures. Yeah.
If you get to Atlanta a lot quicker, you can have this idea of Fry's kind of getting indoctrinated in a way to stay there, and he's blinded by this love. And that's another thing.
And the
If you're
fish
going to have
racism.
such a quick romance make it that he's completely blinded by it and lean heavily onto that.
Instead, he's just a bit. She's pretty, so
Yeah.
he likes her.
If you're going to have this really stereotypical southern city, have someone like Farnsworth completely disgusted with how southern and how
I can almost see
stereotypical they are.
Yeah, I can almost see Farnsworth going the other way though, and becoming an almost like really adapting to the southern way of life,
Right.
and becoming almost a colonel-like person himself, and like sitting on a rocking chair on the veranda. That'd be really good, I think.
Yeah, go the other way. Everyone except one character
Gets
is
really
really.
into
So
this.
you could have Leela, for example. What the hell is going on? Why is everyone so?
Why is everyone drinking mint juleps?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why are they happy to be here? Which also kind of plants a seed for Fry and Leela later on as well. Is that you're constantly flirting with this will they, won't they sort of deal. Also, I have a question. How is Fry getting so many girls?
Yeah,
Constantly.
Yeah, so he dates
good at it.
Amy and.
The radiator machine.
Yeah, I mean, that was just a radiator.
I don't know. Maybe this is lower standards in the future.
I guess.
He's quite charming.
In a short-term sort of
yeah,
way.
short-term.
Yeah. At first glance, you're
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, he's kind of sweet.
He's sweet and stupid. And,
Yeah. And then it's like,
Such a Lothario. I was like, what does he do? What is his plan? How is he doing this? Good things I think that work is definitely, I'm looking at Zoidberg.
Yeah.
He's very heavy in this episode, like gag relief. Well, because underwater, there's so much like to pull from.
Yeah, and he has his own side plot. They have this running thing about he finds a shell which he's going to make into his lovely home. It's me, Zoidberg, homeowner.
Yeah, and it's like, can you help me move a couch? And I'm thinking, how's there room in there?
room in the couch. And Bender says, yeah, but I'm not taking it upstairs. And then they glance out the window and he's got his shell set up with a garden and he's wearing like
a little like hat, like an old lady.
Old lady,
Like,
he
so
just
nice.
gives them a wave. and of course, the culmination of that story is the amazing joke where his house burns down because of Bender's cigar.
Yeah.
With Hermes saying, that just raises even further questions.
And I believe the shell has like a wooden frame as well.
It's kind of great where Futurama will point out their own absurdity.
Yeah, utter nonsense.
Yeah.
In that case.
Which is from a couple of episodes before, which is when Bender's got the massive belly. It's like your door won't even close, and that doesn't even make sense.
Yeah. They love to give a little shout out to themselves for going a bit too far.
Yeah.
I kind of would have loved the idea of if we had them telling the story of Atlanta, which is, people above a sea and then they eventually sink under the ocean and they metamorphosize into these beings. If Leela or someone just goes, but how does that? Wouldn't you have drowned as soon as and then they just gloss over it?
Instead, they used Coca-Cola as a booster for
Yeah,
evolution.
yeah. Very quickly, like
Very quickly, within an
very quickly.
afternoon, it looks like.
Yeah, some good stuff with like Zoidberg and how like when Farnsworth sprays that
Fish pheromone.
fish pheromone, and he's like starts sucking on his head.
Great one-liners like harpoon my ass.
Harpoon my
Yeah,
ass.
that is
So,
a, that is a
she
good one.
does harpoon his ass.
A lot of harpoons for Futurama.
What's that?
After seeing whalers on the moon, or like
From the series has landed.
Yeah.
That song,
Where
damn song,
whalers
went in
on
my
the
head straight
moon.
away.
Carry a harpoon.
Loads of great little one-liners. Farnsworth has to modify the ship so it can move underwater. And he says, it's almost complete. I just have to wait for the paper mache to dry.
That's right.
When they're being put underwater and there's the unbreakable diamond filament, and Zoidberg's like, I'll cut the unbreakable diamond
Diamond
like,
filament. Snip, snip.
It's like, at
As
least I'll
we-
die of my friends. And they're just like inside.
As we're moving further on into the season, you can just see how much more they're doubling down on the Zoidberg hate.
Yeah.
Just the crew's just starting to despise him more and more. Why is he with them?
It looks great because like he's kind of so sweet. He's sweet to everyone, and he's like he wants to save everyone. He wants to have a little
He
house.
thinks everybody is his friend.
Yeah.
The Planet Express crew are just horrible people.
Oh, everyone.
And like,
Farnsworth
you say,
gets
what do they
so
need
angry.
him for, right?
What's that?
Because he's not a doctor. Like, not really. He's not very good.
Is he
as a
licensed? I
doctor.
can't remember. I think we've addressed this.
Yeah, I
He's
feel
got-
like
has an art history
he's probably
degree.
a doctor because maybe like in the future businesses need a doctor.
You have to have
You
one.
have to have one, and just he's the cheapest doctor they could find.
Maybe he's the only doctor from the Decapodian planet. That's just he has a license from their standards.
Oh, really? Yeah, maybe. Well, everyone does die, so
There you go.
he's the only one.
Yeah,
he's the
yeah.
only one carrying on. He's the most highly qualified because everyone else mated and died.
I think my favourite has to be the run of jokes about the anti-pressure pill.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
I can't
Farnsworth
take.
has
I
a
can't
weird
swallow
obsession with asses
Yeah,
in this
With butt
episode.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I do like.
Have you all taken your anti-pressure pill?
Yeah, stop asking. Or what is this like? The Atlanteans give them the plugs to be able to breathe underwater, and his comments something like, this is comfortable and weird. Now, if you could only make this as a suppository.
I think it's uncomfortable and humiliating.
Humiliating. I like a lot of the ocean madness.
He may have ocean madness, but that's no excuse for ocean rudeness.
That's not like, I feel like every like movie that's set in space, someone will always have
space
madness. Space madness.
It's like my favorite thing where it's like Interstellar, interaction of Matt Damon's character. And straight away I'm like, he's got space madness. I know he's got space madness. They always seem so calm. Then it's like, I was stuck on this. I'm like, here we go, space madness.
I mean, that would have been a better way for The Martian to go, I think.
Yeah, that'd be great. Space madness.
Space madness.
Yeah. I found it really some interesting little moments. I thought there was going to be a gag, but there wasn't. When they all leave and Fry's going to stay, Bender's really, really upset.
Yeah.
He's crying, and I was like, they're going to make a joke. He's not really upset as an ulterior motive. Nope. I mean, there's a contrast in that he's not upset at all about Zoidberg staying.
Yeah.
But really, it just is a point of them going, these two are really good friends.
It seems to crop up quite a bit, is for as much as Bender throws away all his friends and really abuses them and just discards them whenever it's necessary, his relationship with Fry in particular, when A Flight to Remember crops up and Bender says he's going to go back to save the Duchess and, leave without me if you have to or whatever. If I don't make it, make up some heroic story about me. And Fry says, say you died crushing children or something horrible.
Really appropriate for Bender.
And Bender hugs him and says, I love you. And there's always just little kernels of sweet moments between the two. He was upset when they wouldn't live together.
Yeah. They do spend time putting in little bits that develop the relationships, even if it's not fully explored. So if you notice, there's again the antagonism between Leela and Amy as well. Yeah. They're always getting at each other. I can't remember what it centers around in this.
The boots.
Fishing.
The boots.
Is this where you shop for your boots?
Yeah. Amy's always got a nasty comment for Leela.
As much as she was lovely in Put Your Head on My Shoulders, just that smug Amy look sometimes. Just
because she's rich and entitled, so yeah. But Leela didn't seem to care that much about Fry staying.
She does say, what about us? And I wonder if she just means, what about us, the Planet Express
There is a
crew?
bit of a lingering second
us?
on that.
Yeah.
What about us? They don't lean into it too heavily, which is where I think why I would have liked Leela to have, if you're going to go that direction, have Leela be the sole voice of...
Yeah, for a reason. They didn't have time, I feel because they spent so much on fishing gags and having a crash ship.
Oxygen gags.
Yeah, that you didn't have... Once you got to the Atlanta, you were barely there, and it's like, he's in love, he's staying. Okay, goodbye. Sad.
End of episode, yeah.
As good as the gags were in the ocean on the ship, I think you could have formulated a better reason for them to be underwater, potentially, to get them there quicker, and so that we can meet the mermaid quicker, get to Atlanta quicker, and then have this creepy city and we're being indoctrinated into that society, and then the humor can come from this, I was going to say fish out of water, but they're in the water. Little pun.
I guess there's a thing, we all seem to really like Futurama episodes where they're funny and they got the gags, but the plot holds water.
See, you get it.
And so everything is hung off a very strong central frame. And when they just kind of have a convoluted reason for being in a certain situation and then hang gags off that, it's just not as satisfying.
No.
There's so much potential for good stories because they're a sci-fi show, right? They're pulling all their tropes from sci-fi. That's where their satire is. Sci-fi is full of interesting plots and weird ideas that you run with. It feels always like a missed opportunity if that isn't part of an episode.
Yeah. It's kind of if you're also used to when Futurama is really at its best and in its prime, which is when all these jokes are tying together and there's a function for all of them to be there, because we do have episodes where they really kind of shine in those moments, such as Crustacean in Love, My Three Sons, I'll give you that, where it makes sense. It's fine to have episodes, and episodes do run okay when the jokes are kind of just contained because we have a plot that can prop it up. But you get these really fantastic episodes when it's equal parts heart, equal parts funny, funny, and those two things meld together and they make sense, and it's a singular focus of an episode. Because I think we're used to that.
There's too much convoluted plotting in this. So the only reason they go to the ocean is because Hermes gets the requisition form wrong, and they have to go fishing according to a license, which is
it's funny.
It's funny for a second,
but then when you get the rest of the episode, then you look back and go, oh.
And even the reason Atlanta is Atlanta, for that pun, they have to go back and explain how Atlanta got into the ocean. That they airlifted it there, and then
that takes
sank.
a lot of time.
It takes a lot of time, and there are like four celebrities none I've ever heard of. Someone
they had Ted Turner.
And,
so
yeah, I've heard of Ted Turner.
And CNN. SEA. You're right. That's it. They get bogged down in their own mythology, in how things came to be. No, we don't have to explain everything.
I would have preferred it if they pointed out that Atlanta was landlocked.
Yeah.
In the middle of the United States, and then just didn't explain how it
That's
got
the thing.
there.
That's where I think like Leela just be like, how does that don't make sense? And they're like, mint jewelers over here.
Or we can just have like literally like it's about going to Atlanta the whole episode. So it's like, oh, we're going to Atlanta, and then Fry's like, oh yeah, and he knows. But then like they go there, and it's like, all right, put on your underwater helmets and all that, and it's like, wait, what? Why are we doing
that to go to Atlanta?
It's like,
you know that American trope of going to Atlantic City to gamble? So what if Fry says, I've always wanted to go to Atlantic City, so the Planet Express crew is like, okay, let's take him to Atlantic City. That'd be awesome.
And it's almost as good a pun, right?
Yeah.
Atlantic City is.
Then they go underwater. He's like, wait, what?
More touristy. Oh, maybe like gambling was illegal, so they moved off into international waters.
International waters. Also, that's another funny thing is that
He's a
Bender's
drug
what?
dealer.
Bender's getting drugs? Or what?
Yeah, and there's also
Guess what you're an accessory to?
It's like international waters would mean that the globe isn't united. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
That's
think
it. 'Cause
that's
it's very much
given.
Earthcan culture, isn't it?
Yeah,
now?
yeah.
Yeah, they just gloss over that.
International space
Yeah,
is what we have to go to now.
Yeah. Could have probably made 2 episodes. If you wanted to do a fishing episode, could have made it like a Captain Ahab kind of a hunting my white whale kind of thing.
Yeah, that would have been good. Or a fishing competition, I guess?
Yeah, like something like that. Like,
or just some kind of sea monster kind of thing. If you're going with sci-fi stuff, they have to fight like a giant squid or something.
Farnsworth has this need to get this mythical beast so he can study it for scientific purposes.
or he created this beast, and it's he has to go
It's
track
got-
it down.
isn't it?
Good
And then,
news,
like-
everyone.
And then I don't know, maybe like Bender gets very like Captain Ahab, like completely obsessed, and he has like a peg robot leg or something.
Also,
You should write for this show. Man.
best use of the good news, everyone, ever, which is the suppository joke.
Yes.
Which is, what is it? It's like, that
I
looks-
can't swallow that.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
huge.
good news. It's a suppository.
Does he even say that? I think he just says good news.
He says
and
good
it's
news, which
implied.
is his take on good news, everyone. No, yeah, he does say it's a suppository.
He does?
Which
Yeah.
he didn't need. Similar to the joke in When Aliens Attack, which is camera 1, camera 2, camera 3.
Yeah.
Penis cam.
Yeah. Penis can.
Running tropes. Feel like we always have to point this out. Bender's inside holds oxygen masks, which is a new function for inside Bender. It also opens and closes as he snores.
That's right. He's obviously installed a volume knob at some point.
So he can snore louder to ignore Fry.
Is it? I don't know if it's a trope, but like Hermes always gets naked.
I was saying this. Hermes loves
He
to
loves to let
wear
loose.
tight speedos whenever he gets an opportunity.
He lost those speedos and he ends up naked inside the ship.
That's right.
He always ends up naked.
I don't know how he loses his speedo.
He ever wants to be. Yeah, I don't know how that happened.
He's already inside the ship and they float to the surface.
Naked limbo competition before they went under.
Yeah, sure.
When he realized the ship was being pulled under by a giant fish, he had to get naked.
I'm pretty sure
he
this
just had to.
might be one of the... We're exploring new parts of the ship as well. We're seeing parts of the Planet Express ship that we haven't seen before.
The bunks.
Yeah,
stuff,
the bunks and
Yeah.
some that deck where when you first see them inside after they've gone under, that kind of where they meet and they're talking about cannibalism.
Oh yeah, it's just sort of a random corridor.
like,
isn't it?
Yeah. Also cannibalism.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a form. There's a manual for who to decide to eat first, according to the
cook up
regulations.
Zoidberg.
First reference of Farnsworth of Sweet Zombie Jesus.
Sweet zombie
Jesus.
Yeah, it's full of good lines. It just doesn't hang together.
Yeah.
It's so sad.
And we're also having little tie-ins to certain things. We have a bit of a allusion to Bender's past addiction. When the eel comes past in the water and he grabs it and he zaps himself, which is what we had in Hell with Other Robots, which is he's addicted to jacking on.
Yeah, the
And so
electricity stuff.
He's a recovering addict.
Yeah, if you can get a little bit on the side. He tries to drink the wine.
Yeah.
Science be a cruel mistress.
Yeah, we even have a little bit of Pirate Bender, right? We want a bit
little
more of
pirate.
that.
Yeah.
It lasts all of 2 seconds.
That's it. There's a lot of little jokes in there that make us chuckle and make us laugh, but it just doesn't tie together to be a altogether cohesive episode. As such, it's more so just that plot that doesn't hang together. There's still the humor there.
Yeah, I mean, you could have done like, they go fishing and then somehow like the ship breaks, but it still floats, and they try and make sails, but then like I don't know,
There's a whole
mutinies happen, and
Yeah.
Pick a plot, right?
Yeah.
Double down on it rather than meander between 3 situations.
The real question is fish top or head top for a mermaid. What do you think?
That's the thing, right? How important is the...
Because I can understand where he's coming from, but a fish top would be very
would be-
scary.
That would be highly distracting.
Those eyes. I'm sorry, fish eyes are very creepy.
Have you kissed a fish?
No, never kissed a fish.
No.
Because I have. No.
I have seen a video, and this is going to be like R-rated straight away. I've seen a video on
Okay.
Facebook of someone getting sucked off by a fish.
I don't want to live on this planet anymore.
Why? Okay, first of all, was this on Facebook?
It was on Facebook.
Was
yeah.
it a dream you had?
No, it was not a dream. I was like,
were
what is
you
this?
on Facebook and you just had a new tab to somewhere else?
No, it was just one of those like you're scrolling by and you're like, what is this? And it's like, oh, someone's fucking a fish.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel sad now.
Yeah.
Thanks for that,
Yeah.
James.
I'm gonna. If we. This answer is hard for a number of reasons.
Look, I want to interact with someone, right? So I would rather them have a lady top.
Can the
Pretty
fish
sure.
head? Can the fish head talk, or is it a fish?
I would say, yeah, for this instance, it can talk.
Otherwise, it's just a
And it's
floundering
like, it's
around.
kind of like,
with-
you know, when there's like fish on the wall talking. Hello, Sean.
does it have?
Big mouth bass.
yeah,
Right?
big mouth bass.
Does it have human intelligence?
Yeah. Think of like SpongeBob.
I don't want to think about
No,
SpongeBob.
not SpongeBob the character. You know SpongeBob the people? They have legs and they walk around, but they have fish tops.
Was
It
it
would
as
be
good
like
for
that.
you as it was for me? Blah!
It would be that kind of situation.
That's who you're dating. And then, you know, that's awful and horrendous. I feel that's not as awful as having to spunk on some eggs.
To spunk on some eggs.
Well, that's how fish mate.
No,
Just-
don't
that's just
the
it.
eggs spunk on you?
No. So the female fish lays the eggs.
Okay.
And then the male fish fertilizes all over them. That's how
Okay.
fish sex works.
Well, but that raises the question then, is that what exactly was he afraid of then? Because all he had to do was pleasure himself or get...
Yeah,
or-
I mean, it's not that gross, right? He just gets freaked out by the fact that
I think what he interpreted as and I lay my eggs. I think he thought I'm gonna have eggs laid inside me. Or
Maybe
on
he
me.
thought that, yeah.
Eggs in your brain sort
that's
of
kind
thing.
of a panic. I'm gonna get out of here. I don't want.
He seems a lot more happy with the fish on fish head idea.
yeah, that's Fry not thinking things through.
Well, then again, he did almost have relations with the Decapodian
Lady, yeah,
lady.
that's true.
that
He
is
wasn't
true.
happy about that either. though.
No.
He came close.
No, he came close.
He's all this interspecies sex.
But she has more of a human body. I will give it that.
Once again, Fry's
Maybe he
just a
just thinks
complete
it's-
Lothario.
Yeah, maybe he just thinks it's gross that he has to watch her spew spawn eggs everywhere.
Or maybe Fry's just a bit shallow.
Yeah, maybe he might
he's
be
shallow.
yeah.
You know.
He varies though, right? I mean, when we a lot later down the line, there's the whole storyline with the instrument he learns to play that shows your
Yeah,
dreams, and it
yeah.
shows a very
The harpsichord? No.
the much deeper side to him. But I guess that's the journey he goes on, right? He's very shallow and stupid, and he gets more mature as he goes on.
Well,
He'll learn to be deeper.
He learns to play that instrument.
Oh.
But he learns to play that instrument so well because he has worms inside of him.
Does he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
And if he
right,
doesn't have the
yeah.
worms, because the worms make him intelligent and sophisticated.
Or
And
when he has
doesn't have
robot
him-
hands.
Yeah, and then when he doesn't have him, he can't play the instrument for shit.
Yeah.
I can't wait for that
But he's
episode.
still sweet, right?
Oh.
He's still
Yeah, that is a really good episode.
I'm just,
I like
I'm
that
watching
movie.
this going, there's
one
so
of the
many
movies,
better
isn't it?
episodes.
I don't think so. I
What's
believe
this?
Just a,
Well, I'm trying to work out with that instrument, whether it's one of the movie episodes.
No, it's not. No,
Just an episode.
because it starts off. There's an episode when he gets worm because he eats a truck stop sandwich
Yeah,
that he wasn't meant
yeah.
to through Lazy Sal.
Lazy Sal, yeah.
Lady, Sal, and then later it comes in the first series finale, which was The Devil's Hands Are Idle Playthings, because it ends with him learning, trying to get better, and he forms. This is 2 years. This is 2
way
years
in
from
the
now.
future.
Yeah.
We ain't get to that episode for a long time. fine.
Yeah, I did love that episode. So so good.
Oh,
Is a manwich a thing?
Manwich?
Manwich.
Yeah.
I don't know what a manwich is, but it looks
It
pretty
looks
tasty.
So tasty. It looks like about 8 layers of bacon. Is what
Yeah,
it
but
looks
I was looking
like.
at it and I was getting hungry. Like, it looks so big.
I feel like in the
It's something about cartoon food, isn't it? It's just
Yeah.
I feel
so
like in the
delicious.
States, they're just going, that's a
Yeah,
thing.
it's a manwich. Yeah.
I have a
Well,
manwich for
yeah.
breakfast.
Yeah.
My manwich.
Also, realizing Krispy Kreme was a thing in the States a good 15 years before Australians knew about it.
Yeah.
Or at least
We did
us in
eventually-
Adelaide.
We
'Cause
did
I-
eventually get Krispy
Yeah.
Kreme here.
So I think Melbourne and Sydney have had it for a couple of years prior to that, but we only got our first Krispy Kreme, 2 years ago?
Yeah, but it's
Maybe?
strange though, because like it feels like Atlanta when they're parodying it, it's so stereotypically Southern.
Yes.
Is Krispy Kreme that so stereotypically Southern?
No, this is the thing. I don't think that was just one of those jokes that just goes on its own merit. Oh, 2 for 1 Krispy Kreme. type
Something
of thing.
amazing's happened.
Yeah.
It's 2 for 1
okay.
Tuesday, Krispy
Alright,
Kreme.
alright.
And also I fell in love with the man.
As if we didn't do fried chicken joke.
Well,
I
you've
know,
got
right?
the Colonel
Yeah,
Bear.
This also reminds me of something I want to talk about this episode in that it's very American. If
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So as international viewers, sure, we've heard of Atlanta, but bagging on Atlanta and bagging on it so heavily about just being an airport and just having this kind of like relying on tourism.
Yeah.
It's very much an American joke. I think Americans would find that funnier. It's like us bagging on, I don't know, what's a really shit town in Australia? Adelaide.
I guess.
Yeah, I
Well,
think
you
so.
know,
Australians
Adelaide,
bagging on Adelaide.
Adelaide
Yeah.
gets that joke of, no singers come here, all the waste is dumped down here, and it's this
Yeah.
idea of Adelaide's small and crap, and Australians understand that.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
but you understand that Adelaide and Hobart, for example, it's the thing is, they're small and they're nothing, and it's America knows about Sydney and Melbourne.
Melbourne.
And maybe Canberra because it's the capital, but that's about it. And we understand this. We can talk
Hmm.
about Perth and Hobart and Adelaide and New Zealand being the
But of Australian jokes, yeah.
Yeah,
It
you're
feels,
right.
it feels like it's
And like-
really aimed at
You're talking about like
Americans.
Delta Airlines, which
It's
Delta
a
Hub, yeah.
It's a Delta Hub.
Yeah,
Well, it
yeah.
took me a long time. It took me a little while the episode was going, trying to figure out, is Atlanta in the south? Then I realized, Georgia, of course. Georgia's very much in the south. But it took me a while to figure that out, which is just inherently
It's-
going to happen if you've got an American show, because first and foremost, it's for the States.
Yeah, I know it is.
Yeah.
I know
like
it
it's
is.
like Georgia's in the south, but if you look at a map, like
He used quotation marks there.
yeah, for quotation marks.
It's not exactly the deep south, is it?
No, like like an American map is just strange the way they lay it out. What is Midwest and what is
The
South,
South,
and
yeah.
it's just all over the place. Like South can still be in the middle of like the middle, like almost more northern than
Center of the
southern.
landmass, yeah.
It's strange how they've divided it up.
So how do we think this matches up against how Hermes requisitioned his groove back? That's a mouthful of a sentence.
It doesn't win.
It does. It can't beat it. I'm
Yeah.
afraid.
Yeah.
That one has a great musical number at the end, and we had a lot of fun with it in a way that we didn't with this.
Yeah,
Like for me, for it to be because of what we've been through so far, and
Because of what we have been through. War-torn Futurama users.
It's such a hard job making a podcast, like watching a TV show you love and then talking about it. for
Tom,
an hour.
come back. Tom, he's not here.
It's so difficult. Yeah, because of the episodes we've been through and the high quality already that we've had,
Yeah.
where episodes have great plots and gags. An episode that just is strung on gags only, it just can't win. It
No.
can't.
Yeah, there's not enough story there or drive or
Or
like
heart.
or heart or like even like depth. Like you're parodying depth. Like we've got depth but no depth.
It just doesn't hold any water. You know?
Yeah, I've done that one. I've done that one.
Oh, you have?
Yeah.
Damn it! I'll edit it out.
Okay.
Mine will be the first time it's said, and then you'll look like the fool.
No, you haven't. I cut it.
Yeah, that's exactly it. We're getting to a point now with these episodes. It's going to be when you're pitting these movies against each other. Movies? Pitting these episodes against each other, you're going to be nitpicking. And it's a sense where I think we're going to be very hard pressed to find truly bad episodes, but it's just going to be what episodes stacked up against each other win out, and how do they do that, which is putting all the elements together. What works more?
Yeah.
I
and
think-
I've talked about this in the past, is that's the thing that's always endeared Futurama to me, is the ability to mix heart with absurdity.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so for an episode to take, King of the Hill, it needs to be that quintessential Futurama mix of those two things.
Oh, King of the Hill just gave me the willies there. I did not enjoy that show.
Yeah, I've seen so much King of the Hill as a kid because I used to be on that like Fox 8
I
block
never
before
got it.
school.
I just didn't get it.
I can
So-
understand
so-
why people enjoy it, but I just went, this humor's not for
I
no.
just found it really boring.
Yeah.
It's like
And
went
not
over my
only
head.
that, like
That's it, isn't
hate
it? It's
the
boring.
characters. Hate.
Oh,
I've
yeah.
seen so much of
They're
it,
really
but I
obnoxious.
hate like Peggy. You just want to.
I hate the kid.
The kids.
Who's the kid?
Bobby.
Bobby. Oh God, I want to.
Everyone in the show is absolutely so frustrating.
Yeah,
But
and
the
not
South must have loved it.
and not in a kind of Always Sunny way
Yeah,
where everyone's awful and the worst.
Yeah.
But it's hilarious.
they're just not likable.
I feel like there's a Tom somewhere.
Yeah,
I can
I
hear
can
him.
sense
Censor Tom. Yeah.
Yeah,
We need to do a voice. I'm guessing we do it Umbriel.
Oh, the other thing I was going to say. Sorry,
Howdy,
before
y'all.
Oh, it's getting
I'm
like
Lurleen Lumpkin of the South,
That's
of the underwater South.
Oh, you speak fish?
Or it's like, what's it? It's like, you have sea lions on land? Yeah, but we call them land sea lions.
I tame them.
Oh, Mr. Fry, you do go on.
You dugong on?
You do go on.
Dugong on?
Which was a joke that was put in there as well.
Just a
Who
married.
am I going to go with to the debutante ball now? Well, how about that fancy dugong from? Oh my god!
Oh, someone's coming in.
We're gonna have a yay!
Whoa, he's here.
Our techie just came into the room. Techie Tom,
As
hello,
we're
Techie
about
Tom.
to finish our episode, yeah.
I'm also very worried. Can you let us know if it's recording?
Fuck.
Oh,
Oh my
see, I
lord!
can't say
Well,
for you
don't
to say
do that
no.
to
you
me.
paused too long.
We got to do the voice.
We just did the voice.
You didn't.
Yeah,
I did.
you gotta do Lurleen Lumpkin.
I said, oh, Mr. Fry, you do go on.
Oh,
I just did this.
all right.
Go back and watch it.
That's the end of the episode, then, isn't it?
Almost. The other thing I was going to suggest is that we're getting.
We have to do more. Oh,
Gotta
right.
do, you just got to keep talking.
I told
Difficult.
them how hard this is.
Yeah.
It's so difficult.
Tough life.
I was thinking as well is that now we're getting to a point. This is just something I'll throw out there. See what you think. Should we, with our ratings, I wonder whether the future seasons, so we're looking into season 6 and 7, whether any of them are going to be able to beat the original run. Do we try and keep doing what we do when we get into the later seasons 10 years from now and pitch, let's say, if something like Jurassic Park wins?
Do we start rating episodes instead of doing the gauntlet?
Well, do we do the gauntlet but season by season?
Oh, right. I get
So
that,
get
yeah.
the best of each season and then pitch the seasons against each other.
Yeah, we have a whole episode where we talk about all the favourites that we've had.
Yeah, so that
that'd
way
be
at
kinda
least
cool.
maybe the best of a season might have a chance.
Yeah.
Yeah, I reckon let's do that.
Otherwise, I feel like if something like, for example, Roswell that ends well or Jurassic Park wins the original show, all the later ones are just going to be, so what
Not as
wins?
good as
Jurassic
Jurassic
Park
Yeah.
every time.
Yeah.
I don't know. I could be wrong, and
Let's
that maybe
pick
there's an amazing episode
No,
later on.
it's hard to beat that one.
I would like
It's
to
so
say,
emotionally
let's
devastating.
pick a favourite of each season.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of fair. And also, by sectioning it off like that, you avoid a little bit of that whole... The most recent one winning because we just watched it.
Yeah.
And you're like, that was great. I enjoyed watching it. Which I feel happens a little bit. So.
Yeah, cool. But in which case, that means season 1's winner is When Aliens Attack, because
Yeah,
that was
cool.
the last winner of season 1 before we moved into. That was there until ahead in the polls. So
Yeah.
that'll work out. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, we will see you next week with Bender Gets Made. Clamps!
Oh yes, of course.
It's the Robot Mafia.
How about we name him Clamps?
That's my name.
I think we've made the clams joke like 4 times.
It's so
already
good.
without
So
clamps.
awesome.
He's a great character.
But, until then, I have been Sean.
I've been Phil.
I've been James.
Oh, bits-
We did not know what order that was going to be in.
Follow us on Twitter to find out when we release new episodes. Drop us a line.
babybeardmeter@gmail.com.
Or on Twitter, wherever you like.
The best way you can help us as well is that if you pop onto iTunes, 5-star reviews, honestly.
Only 5 stars.
Only
please.
5-star
Don't bother
reviews. That's the
otherwise.
way we like it. Either 5 stars or don't give us a rating at all. Just don't. Just move on and find someone that will. It's the best way you can help us. So we appreciate it.
I was going to say, I'm a little disappointed. You said drop us a line. You should have said drop us the unbreakable diamond filament.
Yeah, okay. Bye.
Bye-bye
See
now.
ya.
So we all remember what episode's winning at the moment.
I
Do we?
remember.
Do we? I don't. What episode?
The Archbishop of Canterbury. It's like when you're such a lad and your banter is that much of a quality. When you're ladding it up, you are the Archbishop of Canterbury.
So many good episodes at this point.
It's only going to get worse or better, as it were.
Worse.
We've got so many.
Oh no, we got so many good episodes to watch. Oh fuck, it's gonna get so bad.
Someone's moving in here from tomorrow, so we don't get this room from tomorrow.
What's the plan for space-wise?
I guess either mine or
Yours could work. There's enough room in that.
You should have just told
Like
them
in,
that their
like-
room's a studio. Every week you have to move all your stuff out, except for the soft stuff, so we can absorb sound.
Yeah.
You know how Alex Jones is, right? There's videos, and they're showing videos in court of InfoWars, right?
Yeah.
And him shouting and ranting. And there are ones, I didn't know this, but there are ones of him where he just gets so angry, he tears off his clothes. While like mid-rant, he just tears off his shirt.
He hulks up.
Yeah, he just hulks it, and he's